Well, Private, we got a few things here, but we didn't got our own plans already. Oh, really, Sarge? Okay, we'll see. We didn't know how we can get in our minds, but we haven't continued on to the next particular level. But, I'm not quite sure what we are doing, but we're thinking about it, but nothing serious in our mind stories. Okay, so we had to protect the overpass. So what we're thinking about Sarge? So I think we need to protect our overpass. So we got our plans to set foot on the bridge. So we have to set on foot on the bridge. Just to make sure, we want to keep the bridges over. So in that time we have to set the foot on the bridge for the overpass. But at this point, Sarge, we didn't do anything what we are doing, but like our Lieutenant Jefferson just told us that we have to do it in our ways to protect the overpass in South Carolina. We physically got our jobs, but we didn't know what we are going to do then. We didn't know what's going on, didn't we? And as a result, but we didn't know what we are going to do, so we basically get into that particular point. Well, we all were, or were we not? Because we do not know why all these people didn't get any turns, or where they have any conditions. But still, it couldn't be in the impact of a particular zone. Well, particular zones. That's our new plan. But our plans is, if we have to protect our overpass, the overpass might be protected. As we along waiting for, if we're waiting for the next attack, we wouldn't get involved for not taking care of it all the time. But we have in our situations plan that we wish to continuing on to the next particular level. So for now on, we had to get on with it until things seem to get nasty all the time. Once again, if our plans might be vulnerable to the other particular tourist, they don't deserve it as they matters. But it doesn't matter what we are, what's our race. You didn't know that, would you? Maybe. But if we get into that particular point where we just started on the war, if we had to protect the overpass, because the MWF thugs might coming into the South Carolina to the overpass. But though they went to the overpass once, but they went past the overpass twice. From now on, they were headed to the overpass in South Carolina. Didn't know what's happening, would they? Nothing serious. If I don't mind, you were coming into that particular close, as you're not taking care, but nothing serious. Don't mind you want to come close and then talk to me if you can. You're doing it as you wanted. If you wanted to take care of it we're getting to that particular point where we are trying to do. Well, we're trying to solve our problems. As we may not wish for, but we wish to take care of what we always needed. We're moving into the point. But though, we can't. And I'm not sure we can do whatever we wanted. Personally. If anyone suggests us never do anything what they were, because anybody else who gets to the overpass, they should never enter the overpass in South Carolina. In the United States. Okay? They should avoid that particular place. Beware of it. Well, it is, Sarge. So by the way, we knew that if there's any more problems, then we'll get to know what we are doing, right? So, as we speak, I'm kind of feel a bit less frustrated, but, you know, whatever that is. So, if we get into that point, they would never know what they have to do. But if they do something real bad, they do what they have to do. Because I don't understand what things might gonna happen, what they done. You know, there is a lot of few problems that we don't seek into that course. If we get into that, nobody else wouldn't get involved, wouldn't they? So although, if it's not changed, they change their minds. If they have to protect the Earth wouldn't stop. But if they have to, things might gonna take them out over the overpass. But over the South Carolina overpass. If they'd taken over the overpass, otherwise the overpass might be ruined. I think it's nearby Staunton Bridge. Bridge Staunton. You know, Staunton Bridge. It's the place of the overpass. In the South Carolina Staunton Bridge. In the overpass. But anybody else who'd been to the Staunton Bridge, I wouldn't say. My buddy, a friend of mine, was called Bridge. I haven't met him before when I came back. So I may physically not to contacting him again. So though he was actually a souvenir officer. But he's an officer souvenir. You know that? Souvenir? Yeah. I heard ya. Yeah. Tell you what. Do what you have to do. If you get into that point, if you won't stop anybody, so get to it. If you do, take care of what you needed to do. But you do what you have to do before it's the end. Especially if we get into the other point where we are, but we did not know what we are trying to do, but we haven't solved any problems, didn't we? Nothing serious. But although, if it wasn't changed, but we haven't changed anything otherwise. But we haven't been occupied for the whole reason. You do know that for the occupation, do you? Any occupied businesses? Listen, I have a disability because I don't mind standing up. I don't like standing up. I'm sitting on this particular bench. Like a racker bench. You know that? For some reason, they do not have to say if they are disabled, they can sit in on the chair if they are disabled. So I do not have to say if it wasn't my fault. So what we physically talked about is we don't even forget it all the time. So if they keep their nose out of their business, if you keep your nose out of business, they don't need to get on with your lives. But your lives wouldn't get anything when you have to do. So Sarge, so what are we going to do after we've protected the overpass? So what should we do after the overpass? We'll find out when the overpass has been protected. So after the overpass was protected, we can take our minds. We're not gonna do our mind games. Not mind games. We're on about our plans. Our case plans. They should never avoid any other particular overpass thugs. If we had to kill them, we have to kill the MWR thugs. That they have to enter the overpass. Okay? So now after that, we'll take a break. And have a nice time for evening.